Namaste yogis, welcome to Yin Yoga. We are going to start in a seated position tonight, and if it's available for you to come to Hero's Pose or the pose of the sage, you're welcome to. Tonight I'm going to be sitting on a couple of blocks. You're welcome to sit on your blanket, or if this is not comfortable for your knees, allowing yourself to come to Sukhasana or easy pose, or any pose that feels comfortable seated to start. I'm going to read our waiver before we begin. In order to make these classes as freely accessible as possible to our participants, we will be using a verbal warning and assumption of risk at the beginning of class. Participation in this online class is voluntary. Physical activity programs may result in injury, and by participating, you assume the risk of injury that may result from your participation. We strongly recommend that you participate from a space that is suitable for this activity. For example, make sure that you have moved nearby furniture or other potential hazards. If you are participating in a yoga class or a class that involves laying on the ground, we recommend using a mat, or if you don't have one, a carpeted area. Participants are encouraged to stop if they experience pain or injury and should seek appropriate medical advice or care as needed. The Mary Health and Wellness strongly recommends that each participant have an annual physical exam and follow the advice of your healthcare provider before participating. So again, welcome everyone. So as you allow yourself to just settle into the space, starting to notice the breath. Notice what's going on in the physical body. And then notice what's going on in the mind space. And allow yourself a minute to just look at that natural rhythm of breath as you step back into both those spaces. So noticing as you move through the body, where the breath is at. And then moving into the mind space, and notice, does the breath maybe shift or change? Then staying in the mind space, see if you can notice any just natural shifts and changes as maybe you become the observer of what's going on in the mind space. Changing your relationship with it. Seeing if maybe that allows you to be in a place of peace and calm. Then drawing awareness back to the breath. We're going to allow the breath to help us expand that place of peace and calm. So taking a nice deep inhale, nice long exhale, and then inhaling for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Last round, inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Now, settling into that rhythm of breath, or if another even rhythm works better for you, you're always welcome to go into that space. Just noticing as a little expansion of the breath and then an even exhale, how it turns on that parasympathetic nervous system. Then from this space where we are at, we're just going to shift for a moment. We're going to release any props that we have and make our way into a child's pose. The pose of the child is going to be our first posture for the evening. So allowing yourself the opportunity to find the child's pose that fits right for you. So maybe you'd like a little bit more room for breath. So maybe spreading the knees a little bit wider. Maybe you're feeling the need to have the arms out in front. Maybe it's more comfortable for you tonight to have the arms resting along the side of the body. Wherever you're at, you're allowing yourself to stay in that space, keeping that parasympathetic nervous system in charge, open. For the first part of our practice this evening, we will be working a little more in the upper half of the body. And then as we move towards the end of practice, we'll let the lower half join in. So if it feels right for you, allow yourself to have this focus on the breath. Then wherever your arms are at, allowing yourself to have this awareness of what's going on in maybe the arms or the shoulders. Noticing the sensations. Allowing yourself to gently work through the sensations with the breath. As you move into the final minute here, taking the opportunity to soften just a little deeper, maybe into the mat. Noticing the spaces where you feel tension versus compression. As we folded the body in different ways, noticing the difference between the two. Maybe in the spaces where you're feeling the compression, follow the compression to the source. In the spaces where you're feeling tension, usually the opposite side of the compression, see what you can do to soften, lengthen. Then from here, wherever the hands are at, you're going to reach the arms out in front. Starting to make the hands a little more active on the mat, releasing the arms up, pulling yourself up into a tabletop. And then from here, allowing yourself a little movement in the legs. We've had the legs compressed a long time in the knees, so maybe extending the legs long, maybe wiggling out the toes or rolling the ankles if that feels right. And then as we begin to make our way into our second posture, we're coming into melting heart here. So for those that this is in their practice, go ahead and make your way there. But for those that this might not be a familiar pose, we're going to start by drawing the elbows and forearms down onto the mat here. Keeping the legs in that same posture as, same shape as in tabletop, so hips over knees, and then starting to draw the chest down towards the mat. As you make your way here, you may want to extend the arms out a little, deepening the posture, but maybe staying right here in the forearms is right for you tonight. Starting to notice the sensations that you feel and find the place that feels right. So maybe if the shoulders are feeling a little tighter, you want to move the elbows out a little bit, creating a little bit more space for the heart to melt forward. Maybe the third eye reaches the mat, maybe the chin reaches the mat. Staying in the breath that keeps the parasympathetic nervous system awake. As the body opens up, letting it open. Remembering as you settle in, if it becomes too intense, you always have the availability to back away, coming back to that place that we started. You make your way into your last 30 seconds here. You're going to start to prepare to move. So staying in that mindful space. If you extended the arms out long, you're going to start making your way back to the forearms. Taking a breath cycle before you make your way back into tabletop. Once you get here, if it feels right to add a little movement in, listen to what your body wants. Maybe it's a little bit of movement right and left. Maybe it's a little cat and cow. Maybe it's just pausing in stillness to feel the essence of the last posture. Wherever you're at, you're going to then make your way to seated. I'm going to turn to face you all so that you can see where we're going to go. So coming down into easy pose here. If it feels like the legs are a little high, you're always welcome to sit on a little book or blanket just to raise the hips up. You'll notice my knees came down even once I did that. Then from this space, we're going to extend the legs long on the mat. And then we're going to move into shoelace here. So for those that know where we're going, you can go right there. We're going to take right over left. For those that are not familiar with the posture, we're going to take the right leg and cross it over the left. It's going to be knee over knee here. Then from here, if you feel okay in this space, you're going to take the left leg and bend it also. So here's where it can become a little tricky if you're sitting on something, so just make sure you're nice and even there. And then just allowing yourself the opportunity to make sure that this is not 110% for you. Remembering that if this feels like it's way too much, you can just take that left leg and extend it long again. You've just got the right leg crossed over. So as we settle in here, I'm going to begin to draw awareness into the spine, lengthening the spine. And then taking the right hand, we're going to draw it along the side of the body, maybe placing the right hand down on the mat next to the right hip. You can always place a prop here, just give you a little bit of height. And then you're going to take the left hand and cross it over the left knee. Lifting the body and twisting towards the right side. Keeping the gaze up at neutral in the center line. Staying in that nice, beautiful breath you've created. After your third round of breath, lengthening the spine, settling into the twist, maybe taking the gaze over the right shoulder. Deepening the twist in any way that feels right for you. So if it feels right to take that right arm and just tuck it behind the body, allowing yourself to settle into the space that's good for you. On your next inhale, you're going to make your way back to center. Then with shoulders facing center, over hips, you're going to take that right hand again and place it along the side of the body, remembering you have that prop if you'd like. Then reaching the left hand up and overhead, we're going to take the gaze up towards that left hand. And then as it feels right, just bending over towards the right side. Keeping that left sits bone on the mat. Remember, you can tuck the chin into that left armpit if that feels right. As you settle in after 3 or 4 breaths, maybe you want to bend that left arm. Maybe after a bit, it feels right to walk that right hand out or bend into that elbow. Find the sensation in your body and allow yourself to explore it. Breathe into it. Then on an inhale, you're going to make your way back up, pausing in center. And then reaching the arms out to the sides. Let's press the arms out for a moment. And then drawing them in, crossing left over right. We're coming into eagle arms here, or just that little hug, if that feels right. You know the options, the different binds. And then here, once you've settled into your eagle arms, after 3 or 4 breaths, deepening the posture if it feels right, maybe lifting the elbows up and then hugging them in a little deeper. Maybe a little tuck of the chin. Maybe drawing the hands in a little closer to the face. Maybe a little tilt of the hands, right or left. You find the space that's right for you. And then mindfully making your way out of eagle arms. We're going to bring the arms back out to the sides again. We're going to press just a little bit. We're going to turn the palms up towards the ceiling. And then reach the palms up and overhead. Take the gaze up. Draw the hands through to heart center. And then from here, as you bring your hands down to the floor, you're going to release the legs long. So if it helps to use the hands to go there, go ahead and do it. Let the ankles roll. Rock the legs side to side. As we make our way to the other side, if you know where you want to go ahead and go there. Otherwise, follow me. Left leg now over right. And then starting to draw the right leg along the side, left leg along the side. Remember, you can always, once you get here, if it doesn't feel right, drawing that right leg back out in front. Pausing in stillness, getting settled in, remembering making adjustments if you're sitting on something to find that happy space, keeping the sits bones nicely grounded. If you were using a prop on your right side, you all know we're going to the left, so shift that prop to the left. And then we're going to make our way through our arms once again. So we're going to take that left hand, bring it along the left side of the body to start. Taking the right hand, place it along that left knee, lifting up, and twisting over to the left side. Remembering we're going to Move into the posture on each one of these for about 3 breaths. And then if it feels right, making the moves to deepen. Here it might be taking the hand along, reaching for that right hip, reaching along the floor, taking the gaze over the shoulder. Exploring this side as we move into the left side, just noting how it might be different. Then your next inhale, you're going to make your way back to the center. As we prepare for the side bend on this side, taking that left hand, bringing it to the prop or the floor, reaching up with the right, taking the gaze up towards the hand, and then starting to lengthen the right side. So you bend over towards the left. Remember, we're keeping that right sits bone on the mat or on the prop. Remembering that we are taking 3 or 4 breaths before we decide if we are lengthening the hand, bending at that right elbow, maybe pressing into the floor with the left hand a little bit more, maybe walking that left hand out a little bit or bending into the elbow. Maybe tucking the chin into the armpit. Letting you be the guide here. What does your body need? What does this side need? It can be totally different than the other side. Then wherever you're at, you're going to bring the hands back up, down along the side for a moment and pause. And then moving into the eagle arms on the other side, reaching the arms out first, get that length. And then as you draw the arms together, crossing right over left, and then finding the position for the hands that's right here. Maybe on this side, it's just hugging the arms around the shoulders. Maybe it's tugging the chin. Maybe it's hugging the elbows in just a little bit more. Maybe on this side it's a little more dynamic, so on an inhale, maybe you lift the elbows up, exhale, hug it in just a little deeper. Then wherever you're at, you're gonna let the arms come out to the side. We're gonna pause here for a moment. Then turning the palms up towards the ceiling. We're gonna reach the arms up. We're gonna take the gaze up towards the hands. We're gonna let the hands float through to heart center. We're going to bring the hands along the side of the body and then release the legs. Let the legs come along. Wiggle the toes, roll the ankles, rock the legs. And then from here, if you're seated on a blanket or a block, you're going to come off the blanket and walk. I'm going to turn and shift again so it makes it easier for everyone to see me. So we're going to extend the legs long here. Then we're going to bring the hands along the side of the body. So the hands could be pointing towards the outer edge or pointing towards the back or pointing towards the body. You decide. Remember, you can shift and change this anytime you want. Then you're going to bring the feet to the floor. And when we get here, we're just going to gently windshield wiper the legs side to side. Then you're going to pause in stillness here. We're going to lift the right foot off the floor, and we're going to make a figure 4 here seated. So you're going to have the flexion in that right foot. So we have lots of options when we get here. So you'll notice this is causing a little bit more work for the shoulders. We're also getting that nice hip opener. So you have the option, the long leg, the left leg could be long on the mat or could be really not so long, bent. That's so that you're getting that nice hip crease. A little bit more work for the body, for the shoulders. Other options, shifting the hand position. A little more work maybe for wrists. You can also, if you would like, you have a wall available, drawing yourself to the wall and lifting the arms up and overhead. A little more intense for the shoulders. Wherever you're at. Now we're just about halfway through here. Remembering if you got yourself to a point that feels too intense, just shift it and change. Then from here, wherever you're at, we're going to begin to release the posture by releasing the legs first. So taking that left leg and extend, or I'm sorry, right leg and extending it long, let the left leg follow. Come up to a staff pose and then just release the wrists by just rolling the hands here before we go to the other side. You may even want to put the palms together, the backs of the palms, and just press in a little bit more. You can even rub the hands together, creating a little heat, or interlace all the fingers and round and come forward. Then as we make our way to the other side, remembering you've got lots of options here. So deciding where you want to place the hands, maybe to start. Bending the legs. Lifting that left leg up and over, finding that figure 4. Flexion in that left foot. And then you decide the intensity for this side. So maybe drawing the heel a little closer on this side, or maybe this side's like, yeah, no way. I want it nice and long. Wherever it is, it's perfect. It's perfect for you. Remember that option. If you tried the wall on the other side, you're welcome to do that. More than halfway done. And as you're ready, beginning to release the posture, letting both legs come long, and just wiggle them out here. We're gonna stay in this shape for the next posture, which, if you'd like, remembering you can sit on something. If the hamstrings are feeling tight, you can always place something under the knees also. So from here, allowing yourself to just let the hands come along the side of the body. And we're just going to let ourselves just soften forward. So if it feels right to just start to round the back as we're making our way into a caterpillar pose here. So for some, they're going to get here and they're going to be like, no, I need to open my spine a little bit more. I'm going to lengthen my spine and then around my back. That's always available to you. You listen to what your body is telling you. The beauty of this practice is it allows us the time to explore the postures. And in exploring the posture or the asana, we're exploring the body. What is this physical space telling you? Noticing maybe the connections within as you soften one space where the tension or the sensation shifts to, and then moving through that space. Remembering throughout this practice, we're letting the floor support us. Even as we work the upper body tonight, the floor was supporting the lower half of the body. And you're more than halfway done here. Just noticing as the softening begins to happen, not resisting it. Maybe noticing in this space, just as we did in child's pose, compression versus tension. Remembering when we're feeling the spaces of compression, that means there's not really any more to go. But that doesn't mean that the tension on the other side doesn't have more room for movement. Sometimes we need to find that compression in order to release the tension. And as you make your way into the final time here, allowing yourself the opportunity to just check in before or you mindfully reverse the process and make your way back up into that staff or Dandasana, letting the crown of the head reach towards the ceiling. Before you begin to make your way down onto your back. And do that however you would like. Please make sure whatever props or anything you might need for Shavasana is easily accessible to you so that you can make your way into Shavasana. But as we recline down onto the mat, we're going to take the opportunity to move into a couple twists before we go into Shavasana. So just take this chance with the feet on the floor to just rock the knees side to side. Just that nice, gentle massage of the pelvis. And then noticing as the spine begins to settle on the mat, you just make the adjustments needed to find that comfort here. Then pausing in stillness. You're going to have lots of options for your arms in this twist. We're going to get the lower half of the body settled, and then you're going to decide where the arms want to go. For some, it's going to feel like, oh, I just want to place my hands down along the side of the body. You might want a T, you might want a cactus arm, you might want that square overhead. But first, allow yourself the opportunity. We're going to get the lower half settled and then move into that space. So we're going to do some eagle legs here. So we're going to start by crossing right over left. You're welcome to stay here, but if you want to move into that full bind, tucking that leg, that foot underneath that calf, you're welcome to go there. And then you're going to let the knees drift over towards the left side of the mat. Finding that space here, that comfort. Remembering, if it feels too intense to be in the bind, come out of the bind. And then allowing yourself the opportunity here to just explore where the hands want to be. An option I didn't give you at first is maybe even placing the hands on the body here as you allow yourself to just find that comfort. Settling into the breath. And then after several rounds here, just like we did in that first twist while we were seated, if it feels right to make any shifts or changes, like for example, where do the arms want to go as you settle in? Did they shift and change? Where does the gaze want to go? Maybe the gaze wants to stay looking up at the ceiling, but maybe it wants to move towards the left side. Let the head be placed wherever it feels the yummiest for your body. And as you are more than halfway down here, just taking that opportunity to explore. Then preparing to exit the posture. Wherever the gaze is, you're going to let it come back to looking at the ceiling. Pausing for a moment, and then on an inhale, drawing the legs back up to center. Taking your time to release the bind, release the crossover. You're just going to extend the legs long on the mat for a moment in between. Just taking the time to feel into the benefits of the twist on that side with the added bind. Then bringing the feet back to the floor, making any adjustments on the mat that you need to. We're going to take the left leg, cross it over the right, and find those eagle legs here. Maybe the bind, maybe not. And then drawing the knees over to the right side. Finding that space, that comfort. Remember, you can use your props to rest the legs on. Taking some time to settle in here, letting the arms go where they just naturally want to go here. Letting yourself enjoy the subtle difference between this side and the other side, or maybe the difference isn't so subtle. As you settle in, remembering the opportunity to place the gaze where it feels right. Staying in neutral over the left, or maybe it's the right. Remembering the space that you choose should feel yummy, delicious dessert. Moving through the body, noticing the sensations. Noticing the shifts and changes in the sensations. And as you are ready, if you have the gaze over one of the shoulders, you're going to bring it back to neutral. And from here, on an inhale, bringing the knees back up to center. And then releasing the legs. This time, instead of going long, we're going to hug the knees into the chest here. And we're going to rock the legs side to side. Drawing some circles maybe with the knees. If you go one way, make sure you go the other way. And then pausing in stillness, allowing yourself some movement in the feet and the ankles, maybe rolling the ankles to the right and the left, pointing and flexing. Spread the toes wide, hug the toes in. And then extending the legs up towards the ceiling. Finding legs up the wall here. Pausing in stillness. Then as you're ready, letting the feet slowly drift down to the floor. And then extending the legs out long on your mat. Moving towards your Shavasana. Finding the shape that feels right for you. Taking the opportunity to find any props or blankets that allow you to feel more comfort. And then drawing your awareness back to the breath. As you settle in here, feeling into the benefits of your practice. As tonight we will close practice in Shavasana, allowing you this opportunity to make Shavasana as long as you would like this practice. You took this time, allow yourself the gift of feeling into the benefits of all your practice. I thank you all so much for the privilege of guiding you through this practice. I hope the benefits of practice follow you into your week. May you all be happy. May you be safe. May you walk this earth in loving kindness, always at peace and ease. From my heart to all of your hearts, Namo Namaha, Namaste.